really hope your holiday season was wonderful and that 2019 is treating you right so far. For Christmas, we were in Colorado because earlier in December we had spent a week with our family in the Midwest. So that was kind of Christmas time with them. So for Christmas Day, we decided to go out to Copper Mountain to do some skiing in the morning, and then per my request, we went out to Keystone Resort to do some ice skating on Keystone Lake. And it's been on my bucket list for a long time to do some outdoor ice skating, and this experience did not disappoint because there were beautiful mountains in the backdrop. They had all the Christmas lights up. There was a giant Christmas tree in the middle of the lake, and it was just, the weather was perfect, so it was everything I had wanted from the experience. So at the end of this video, I will insert some clips from some of our activities on Christmas Day. And then for New Year's, we were pretty low-key. We stayed here at home and just snuggled in bed with our dogs in pajamas just watching Netflix. So pretty chill, but it was just what we wanted after we had had such an eventful Christmas Day. But speaking of the new year, I know a lot of people have a goal to go vegan in the new year. They're thinking they want to make some dietary choices that will improve their health. They want maybe to align their diet with their values. And so I thought I would go through a few tips and tricks that may help you overcome some obstacles on your journey to becoming vegan, because there are a lot of things standing in our way. Before we get into the tips, I thought I would share with you a few things that I'm absolutely loving this month. And first up is a new book that I just bought. It's a cookbook. It was written by my friend JL Fields called Vegan Meal Prep. I've been meal prepping for about 2 months, and I've been kind of doing a DIY approach, and I feel like it's a skill that you can definitely improve and get better at. So I felt like a book would be perfect. So when she announced that this was being published at the end of 2018, I jumped on the opportunity to pre-order. So this is such a foolproof book if you are just starting with meal prepping. First of all, one of my favorite things about this book and all of JL's other books is that she dedicates them to the animals. That is the kind of vegan that I am, and so I really appreciate that from a cookbook author. There's tons of gorgeous pictures in here, and it's set up in a really simple fashion. So you have a very clear-cut guide to setting up your meal prep for the week. So what she'll do is she gives you the entire shopping list for the week and then a suggested menu for the week. And there are also some really helpful tips in here, like which things you can freeze, which things you can't freeze. She has some suggestions on the types of containers that you use. So if you haven't gotten your hands on this book yet, or any of JL's other books, I highly recommend it. I will leave a link in the description box if you would like to check out this book or any of her other books. The second thing that I'm going to talk about today is a food item. So I have recently discovered that my local Dollar Tree has tons and tons of vegan food options. And one of my favorite discoveries has been these veggie burgers. I don't know if you can find these at your specific Dollar Tree near where you live, but I highly recommend checking out what your Dollar Tree has to offer you, because these are delicious. And they were $1 for 2 patties. In terms of the ingredient list, there's potatoes, vegetable oil, carrots, green beans, corn, bell peppers, onion. I mean, it's all food that you have heard of. These are fantastic. They cook up great. They stay together when you flip them if you heat them in a skillet. And they're just fantastic. And interestingly, it does say 100% vegetarian, but they are vegan. The last thing I want to talk about is a makeup product, and you may have heard the great news that CoverGirl recently became a cruelty-free brand. I thought it was too good to be true at first, but I've done some additional digging and it is legit. They are a Leaping Bunny certified brand, which in my opinion is the gold standard. So out of my own curiosity, and because I wanted to expand some of the suggestions that I offer through this channel, and also because CoverGirl is sold in like literally every drugstore and supermarket across the country, I decided to try some of their products. And because I'm a lash junkie, I decided to start with some of their mascaras. So I bought the CoverGirl Peacock Flare mascara, and this is in Blackest Black, and it is not the waterproof kind. Here's what the wand looks like. Most days I wear magnetic false lashes just because I'm lazy, but on days that I don't, I really like wearing this mascara. So what I typically do is I'll do 3 coats. I curl my lashes first, and then I'll put on a coat, let it dry, curl them again, put on another coat, and I just do that until I get to my third coat. I'm a fan of big old gigantic lashes that are outrageous, so this mascara does the trick. It makes your lashes huge. And one other thing that I really like about it is that it doesn't flake. So I've had this tube for about 5 weeks, and I haven't yet had any issues with flaking from it drying out. With other mascaras that I've tried, I have noticed flaking like on my cheeks while I've been in the process of applying it, where I will curl my lashes and I'll see some of the flakes on my cheeks. So this stuff is fantastic because it does not do that. And I do want to support the OG cruelty-free brands as much as possible, but this actually may be one product that I keep around because I like it so much. Without further ado, I want to get into some of these tips that I've been talking about, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Obstacle number 1, you're not ready to give up some of your favorite foods, or the thought of making a huge overhaul to your diet is really overwhelming. If you're in one of those camps, my solution is to do it your way. You know yourself best, and if you know that making a 180 change overnight is going to set you up for failure, then stair-step your way into the process and pat yourself on the back along the way, because you are making progress and you are making a difference for animals. A lot of people spend some time vegetarian and then they transition to being vegan, and that's totally normal. There are some people who can flip a switch and overnight become vegan, but for many people it takes it's a series of decisions, and it's a process to get there. Some people will pick some of the easier things to start out with. So for me, as an example, it was really easy for me to give up red meat and eggs because I wasn't all that crazy about them. And you'd be surprised at the momentum that you'll gain along your journey for you to tackle harder things. And in my case, that was cheese and yogurt and ice cream. Cheese is a huge obstacle for a lot of people. So if you're in that situation, don't feel bad. Start with the easy stuff first and then work your way to harder stuff later. Obstacle number 2, you may be concerned with keeping up your motivation for the long haul, which is a completely legitimate concern because you may be faced with making some pretty big changes to your lifestyle. And we live in a very non-vegan world. It's becoming ever more increasingly friendly to vegans, but there are still a lot of outside pressures that will derail you. So in the early days, having a really strong why was one of the most important factors that helped keep me on track. Veganism for me is all about ethics and justice for animals. So whenever I would be tempted in the early days to buy something that wasn't aligned with my goals or eat something that I had planned not to, I would always think about how those actions impacted the animals that I cared so much about, and that was always enough to get me back on track and focused on my goals. And what has kept me motivated over the long haul to stay vegan and get connected into the community is being involved with vegan groups, whether digital or in person. So I've been part of a vegan meetup group wherever I've lived. I'm part of lots of Facebook groups for different things, so different types of cooking, different locations, different interests. There's vegan hiking groups, vegan air frying groups, vegan Instant Pot groups, and you'd be surprised at what you can find out there to connect with other people. The other thing that has really helped me is having in-person opportunities to get to know other vegans. So I've hosted vegan meetups at my house. Currently, I'm part of a group called Vegan Lady Boss, which is a vegan women's networking group, and it is such a source of joy and fulfillment for me. So those are the most important things that help keep me engaged and fulfilled as a vegan, and I plan to keep doing them. Obstacle number 3, you're concerned about accidentally missing an animal-derived ingredient in the foods that you eat or accidentally purchasing an item that was tested on animals. Before I get into some of the tools that I use, I do want to reemphasize that, again, veganism is not about personal purity. It's about doing the most that we can for the animals and the environment. And at some point, you do so much and you just have to let go of the rest. But there are some tools that will help you figure out which ingredients as crazy as they may sound, are animal derived, so you can avoid them. And there are apps and tools that you can use to help with making sure you're buying cruelty-free products. So the two apps that I like to use are the Is It Vegan app, which will help you scan barcodes at the grocery store so you can determine if there are any animal-derived ingredients in the list. And then also the Beauty Without Bunny apps is one of my favorites because it's super easy. You just scan a barcode. And then also there are a few websites that I like to use if I'm at home on my laptop and I'm searching something that I can dump a list of ingredients into or search cruelty-free brands on. So I'll leave those in the description box for you. But let's just play a game before we move on to the next point. I'm going to put 3 ingredients up here, and can you tell me which of these 3 are animal derived and which 2 are vegan? I'll circle the answer right here. Did you know? Obstacle number 4, you're concerned about being deficient in name the nutrient. There are all kinds of objections nutritionally to why you shouldn't go vegan, but the truth is that you can have a healthy and well-balanced diet as a vegan. So one of the things that often gets brought up is B12. So it's an easy solution. There are some foods that are rich in B12, and I will list them here. And then also, you can also take a multivitamin. It's a habit that I have carried from my childhood all the way into my adulthood. So I was taking a multivitamin daily before I went vegan. And it's a habit that I think is beneficial just to make sure that all my bases are covered nutritionally. Of course, it does not take the place of a healthy and well-balanced diet, but it helps, just kind of make sure you're covered just in case. And to those who may balk at this and say, well, you shouldn't have a diet if you feel like you need to take a multivitamin, what I would say to that is I would much rather take a vitamin than pay for an industry that is destroying the planet and is horrible to the animals in its care. So that's my thoughts on that. And then also I would say, protein is often brought up as something that people are concerned that vegans will be deficient in. And the truth is that most Americans have too much protein in their diet, or definitely enough. And the fiber content of their food is what we really should be concerned about. So if you're eating more fruits and vegetables as a vegan, you should be covered on fiber. And there are plenty of examples of vegan athletes who are strong and muscular, and I'm just going to put up a few pictures here of vegan athletes that are just killing it and have giant muscles. I don't think any of them are lacking in protein. So if they can do it, you can too. Obstacle number 5, you're not sure what to eat when you go out to restaurants. This is a particularly big issue if you travel a lot for work or if you have to go out often for work functions. But the good news is that if you're going vegan now, there are more options than ever, and you would be shocked to see what you can get. So if you have any influence over the decision, I would highly recommend doing some research ahead of time through either a Facebook group that's specific to that city, where you can maybe search the group and see if they've provided any suggestions on restaurants that are vegan friendly, or use an app or a website like Happy Cow, where you can do some searching to see what is available to you in the area. And then second, if you don't have any influence over the decision, see if you can go to that company's website and research options. Maybe they've already got a vegan section on their website that you can kind of browse. At very least, it will help you come up with a game plan for when you get to the restaurant so that you're not just sitting there wondering and thinking through, what potential options you have. And then if you happen to go to a chain restaurant, I use an app called Vegan Express, and that will give you some ideas for options that you can order at chain restaurants. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some practical tips from this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you have not already done so. And before I leave you, here are a few clips from our adventures on Christmas Day. See you next time.
It's cold outside, it tingles in my heart. Breathing air that clears my mind, I'm off for a good start. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love. It feels like I'm a kid, like I'm forever young. And that's why I wanna sing about the Christmas on its way. A reason to hang around. here, my winter wonderland. I'm walking around making small talk with people that pass me by. I share a laugh, it gives me joy that everyone's having a good time. I hear those jingle bells, people singing about love. It feels like I'm a kid, like I'm forever young.